Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back. Live to another, back to another live from the Norwegian woods once again. I'm your host, Supermom. Ulf Hawkins Gray from WhiteWolfAlchemy.com. It's that kind of day. But nonetheless, I'm feeling ready to step up here on my soapbox YouTube channel and share a little bit about something that recently occurred in my personal experience in my own life. As some of you may know, I go to school and am studying to become a practicing Gestalt coach. For those of you who do not know what that is, Gestalt coaching is coaching oriented in the Gestalt method as Gestalt therapy, psychotherapy, and studying to become a Gestalt coach or a Gestalt therapist. You have to enter the processes and do the work to an even deeper extent than I've ever done before. So you get you get to go to the depths of what it is that you're going to be offering of services. And for me, that meant revisiting some old patterns. That meant revisiting some old traumas that I thought I had healed, It meant learning a skill and a method in order to use it professionally. And in September, I experienced feeling completely blank. Like I could not conduct a session at my school. I had no capacity to listen to the coachee during this session. I was so preoccupied with what was going on within my own psyche and my own body that I had no awareness of what the other was talking about. And it just hits me like and all of a sudden I sit there feeling like a complete fraud, complete imposter. How am I going to make money from this when I don't even have faith in myself at the moment that I could do this, that I could conduct this? My capacity to hold the coachee was non-present, and I wasn't able to follow the method that I had been learning. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like an imposter. I feel like a fraud. But then it hits me when I come back to class. I'm like, dude, I'm in process. I'm knee deep in process. Um, and I get some assistance from my fellow students to kind of um, get to grips with what we're doing. Um, I get through um, I get through the school week and um, get what I can out of the week. And then I decide, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to lean on the curriculum. I'm going to enter my curriculum and my studies, and I'm going to really, really figure out where I'm at, what's going on. This has to be documented. This change that I'm going through, and I go through Sinker's book, Creative Process and Creative Experiments with Gestalt, a yellow book, and I find it. I find where I'm at. And of course, like I had diagnosed myself, I was knee deep in process, actually up to my neck in process. That's what I was. Knee deep would be, I was up to my neck in process. I was almost about to drown, metaphorically, in my process and feeling like a complete imposter, a complete fraud for a while. And then I see, the Pearls and Sinker, two phenomenal Gestalt therapists and teachers and authors of material mentioning the phobic layer. Um, and the information about the phobic layer was 100% what I found myself to be um, experiencing. So there I was experiencing the phobic layer, and just everything felt so, lost to me. I felt so out of touch. Um, and yeah, I just felt like I was not doing the right thing, and I was in the wrong place. I had misguided myself, you know, misled myself. And so I decided to be in it. Okay, I'm going to trust the process. Reading this information, reading about um, the change process, the module for the change process. I could see, okay, I had been in experiencing a spread, which is like the second and third. I had experiencing contraction, and then after a while, I experienced coming back together. Slowly and surely, I felt, okay, I'm getting the grip of this. I'm getting the hang of it. And it's all falling, all the pieces are falling back into place. And, my brain was working again. My brain was picking up all the new information, putting the pieces together. And had I not trusted the process and pulled out of my studies, for example, or given up, I would have not experienced the phenomenal win that I'm currently experiencing. I would not have experienced um, myself as becoming a great coach, um, in the words of my classmates, you know, because we were all coaching one another all the time as part of the training. And I would not experience myself to master something new. Um, I would not experience myself to be becoming an academic scholar, I would not experience this win if I had listened to the sensations of the process and the imposter syndrome that I was feeling. Um, but there I was. There I was in the midst of process, and I accepted the fact that, okay, in this moment, I don't feel like I know diddly squat all. In this moment, I don't feel like I have the hang of it. In this moment, I am in the becoming of something new. And in this becoming, I am not yet complete. And can I allow myself to be that? And in the acceptance of the sensations of the imposter syndrome, in the acceptance of the feeling of defeat, in the acceptance of the feeling of fraudulence, in the acceptance of all these horrible sensations in my body and my mind feeling blank and stupid, something shifted from the acceptance, and a new me was born. I was reborn into the next level of. And I know that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. There's so much more to come. There's so many layers to shed. There's so many new versions of me waiting for me to be discovered along this path. And I now know that I've chosen the right thing. I've found a home in uh, Gestalt theory and the method. I have found a home there. And I now know all the times that I felt this imposter syndrome or I had anxiety, I did not feel prepared or, you know, through exposure and experience and trusting the process and accepting it, I became confident. And the more I understood my curriculum and where I was at in this change process, the more I trusted the process, the more confident I became in where I was at, where I was going, and my capacity to, learn something new and master it. If I had given up, I would have probably pulled into a shell and hibernated for the winter and cocooned myself completely for a long time in shame. In shame. But I didn't have to do that because I allowed myself to go through the process. I allowed myself to change. And I allowed myself to be okay with where I was at. And in that allowance, change occurred, even further change. And through that, again, and keep practicing this method, I'm slowly learning to master it. So it's just like, learning to ride a bike, learning to skateboard, or learning a new instrument, learning a new language. You're probably going to experience the imposter syndrome while you're getting the hang of it. And in that getting the hang of it and not yet fully mastering it is the beautiful gift of you discovering parts of yourself and recreating yourself in your new image. But feeling like an imposter is probably one of the worst things, you know. People make all kinds of bad choices in the state of the imposter syndrome. And it can probably go on for a long time for a lot of people if they don't accept it. If there's no acceptance, the friction increases and the sensations increase, and the feeling of being fraudulent will probably take you over. It can make people suicidal, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. It's really, really strong feeling of not being what you present yourself as, not being who you present yourself as, not having the skills you present yourself to have. And I think it's a good marker. If you've ever had imposter syndrome, it means that you really, really care. I think assholes and psychopathic people, I don't think sociopaths and psychopaths, I don't think they have this kind of sensation and doubt in who they are and what they're doing. Um, I don't think they experience that kind of thing. So you can rule some things out as okay. I'm not suffering from psychopathy. I'm not suffering from sociopathy. I got a good heart. You know, yeah. So revelations are to be made um, in who we are becoming and who we choose to become, and we have to trust the process. And you build and you get out of the imposter syndrome by building confidence. By building confidence in what you're doing, what you're feeling fraudulent in. And the more you build competence and confidence, the less of an imposter you'll feel like. But it's part of the process, and allow it, accept it, and it will shift. But you gotta hang in there. It's not gonna change like that. You're gonna have to sit with it. Maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then you start to feel different. Maybe you wake up one day and all of a sudden, wow, it's changed. It did for me. Thank goodness. Thank goodness it did for me. And I hope it will for you. I know it will for you, actually, if you allow yourself to feel that way. Don't try to change it, just be in it. Be in it until it changes. That's the trick. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and have a beautiful now wherever you are. And you'll see a lot more of me this December. And feel free to tune in. Be the heart of the place that you're at. Be the light of the place that you're at. So many people are struggling and suffering through these holy days. And it doesn't take a lot to be a decent person. It won't cost you a thing. Take good care. Peace.